Sunday, December 24th. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, still no package from Dad. I keep thinking about last Christmas when we were in the mobile home before Dad bought the tractor. He had to dodge the highway patrol to get home in time for Christmas. Mom cooked a turkey and a nice dinner. We had a Christmas tree about 2 feet high because there wasn't room for a big one. At dinner, Daddy remarked that when he was driving along, he often saw one shoe lying on the highway. He always wondered how it got there and what happened to its mate. Mom said one shoe sounded sad like a country western song. While we ate our mince pie, we all tried to think up songs about lost shoes. I'll never forget them. Mine was worst. Driving with a heavy load, I saw a shoe up on the road, scorched like a toad. Dad came up with, I saw a shoe, wet with dew, on Highway 2. It made me blue. What'll I do? Mom's song really made us laugh. It was the best. A lonesome hiker was unlucky to lose his boot near Truckee. He hitched a ride with 1 foot down the road to Angel's Camp. Dumb songs, but we had a lot of fun. Mom and Dad hadn't laughed that much for a long time, and I hoped they would never stop. After that, whenever Dad came home, I asked if he had seen any shoes on the highway. He always had. Monday, December 25th. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, last night I was feeling low and was still awake after the gas station stopped pinging. Then I heard a heavy feet coming up the steps, and for a minute I thought it was Dad until I remembered he always ran up steps. Mom is careful about opening the door at night. I heard her turn on the outside light and knew she was peeking out from behind the curtain. She opened the door, and a man said, Is this where Leibot lives? I was out of bed and into the front room in a second. I'm Leibot, I said. Your dad asked me to drop this offer for you. A man who looked like a trucker handed me a big package. Thanks, I said. Thanks a whole lot. I must have looked puzzled because he said he sent out a call over his CB radio for someone coming to Pacific Grove who would like to play Santa. So here I am. Merry Christmas and a ho ho ho. He waved and was off down the walk before I could say anything more. Wow, I said to Mom. Wow, she just stood there in a row, smiling while I began to tear off the paper, even if it wasn't Christmas morning. That had sent what I always wanted. A quilted down jacket with a lot of pockets and a hood that zips into the collar. I tried it on over my pajamas. It was the right size and felt great. Getting a present from my dad in time for Christmas felt even better. Today, Katie invited us for a Christmas dinner, even though this has been a busy season for catering. She also had some of the other women who work with her and their kids and a few people from our neighborhood. On the way home, Mom said, Katie has a heart as big as a football stadium. It was a lovely dinner for lonely hearts. I wondered if she was thinking about last Christmas when we tried to make up songs about lonely, lost issues. Wednesday, January 3rd. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, I got behind in my diary during Christmas vacation because I had a lot of things to do, such as go to the dentist for a checkup, get some new shoes, and do a lot of things that don't get done during school. Today, I wrote a fictitious name or sued. As they sometimes say, on my lunch bag, I printed Joe Kelly on it because that was the name of the boy in Ways to Amuse Your Dog, so I knew it was fictitious. I guess I fooled the thief because nobody stole the water chestnuts and chicken livers wrapped in bacon that Katie broiled just for me. They're good even when they're cold. I hope the thief drooled when he watched me eat them. Monday, January 8th. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, Dad phoned me from Hermiston, Oregon. I just looked in my book of road maps and saw where it is, up there by the Columbia River. He said he was waiting for a load of potatoes. I could hear a jukebox and a bunch of men talking. I asked about Bandit, and he said Bandit was fine, a great listener on a long haul, even though he doesn't have much to say. I asked that if I could ride with him sometime next summer when school is out, and he said he'd see. I hate answers like that. Anyway, he said he was sending the sport check and he was sorry he forgot, and he hoped I liked the jacket. I sure wish Dad lived with us again, but he said he would phone in about a week and to keep my nose clean. He had to go to make sure the potatoes were loaded so they wouldn't shift to going around curves. This has been a good day. My lunch was safe again. Mr. Ridley is so funny. Lots of kids are having their teeth straightened so when they eat lunch, they take out their retainers and wrap them in paper napkins while they eat because nobody wants to look at the speedy retainer. Sometimes they forget and throw the napkin with the retainer into the garbage. Then they have to hunt through the cans of gooey garbage until they find their retainers because retainers cost a lot of money, and parents get mad if they get lost. Mr. Feedley always stands by the garbage cans to make sure kids who buy school lunches put their forks and spoons on a tray and not in the garbage. Whenever someone who wears a retainer scrapes his plate, Mr. Friedley says, "Look out, don't lose your first teeth." This has cut down on lost retainers. Mom says I take after Daddy in one thing. My teeth are nice and straight, which is a good big saving right there. Tuesday, January 9th. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, my little cheesecake was missing at lunchtime, which made me mad. I guess somebody noticed Joe Kelly's lunch was really mine. When I went to throw my lunch bag in the garbage, Mr. Friedley said, "Cheer up, Lee, or you will trip over your lower lip." I said, "How would you feel if somebody was always stealing the good stuff from your lunch?" He said, "What you need is a burglar alarm." A burglar alarm on a lunch bag? I had to laugh at that, but I still wanted my cheat cake. Dad should be phoning any day now. When I said that at supper, chili out of a can, Mom said for me not to get my hopes up. But I know Dad will remember this time. Mom never really says much about that, and when I ask why she divorced him, all she says is it takes two people to get a divorce. I guess she means the same way it takes two people to have a fight. Tomorrow I'm going to wrap my lunch bag in a lot of scotch tape so nobody can sneak anything out of it. Wednesday, January 10th. Dear Mr. Pretend Henshaw, it's funny how somebody says something and you can't forget it. I keep thinking about Mr. Friedley saying I needed a burglar alarm on my lunch bag. How could anybody put a burglar alarm on a paper bag? Today I used so much scotch tape on my lunch bag. I had a hard time getting my lunch out. Everybody laughed. That should have phoned today or tomorrow. Maybe if he came home, he would know how I could make a burglar alarm for my lunch bag. He used to be good about helping me build things, except there wasn't much room in the mobile home we lived in. And you had to be careful where you pounded it because a piece of plastic might break off something. I read over the letter you wrote that time answering my questions and thought about your tips on how to write a book. One of the tips was listen. I guess you meant to listen and write down the way people talk, sort of like a play. This is what Mom and I said at supper, frozen chicken pies. Me, Mom, how come you don't get married again? Mom, oh, I don't know. I guess men aren't that easy to find when you're out of school. Me, but you go out sometimes. You went to dinner with Charlie a couple of times. What happened to him? Mom, a couple of times was enough. That's the end of Charlie. Me, How come? Mom thinks a while. Charlie is divorced and has 3 children to support. What he really wants is someone to help support Charlie. Me, oh. 3 sudden brothers or sisters was something to think about. But I see men all around. There are lots of them. There are lots of men. Mom, but not the marrying kind, sort of laughs. I guess I'm really afraid I might find another man who's in love with a truck. Me, I think about this and don't answer. Daddy in love with a truck? What does she mean? Mom, why are you asking all these questions all of a sudden? Me, I was thinking if I had a father at home, maybe he could show me how to make a burglar alarm for my lunch bag. Mom, laughing, there must be an easier way than my getting married again. End of conversation. January 12th. Dear Mr. Henshaw, this is a real letter I'm going to mail. Maybe I had better explain that I have written you many letters that are really my diary, which I keep because you said so and because Mom still won't have the TV repaired. She wants my brain to stay in good shape. She says I will need my brain all my life. Guess what? Today the school librarian stopped me in the hall and said she had something for me. She told me to come to the library. There she handed me your new book and said I could be the first to read it. I must have looked surprised. She said she knew how much I love your books since I check them out so often. Now I know Mr. Friedley isn't the only one who notices me. I am on page 14 of Beggar Bears. It is a good book. I just wanted you to know that I am the first person around here to get to read it. Your number 1 fan, Levi. Dear Mr. Henshaw, I finished Beggar Bears in 2 nights. January 15th. Dear Mr. Henshaw, I finished Beggar Bears in 2 nights. It is a really good book. At first I was surprised because it wasn't funny like your other books, but then I got to thinking. You said others should think, and decided a book doesn't have to be funny to be good, although it often helps. This book did not need to be funny. In the first chapter I thought it was going to be funny, I guess. I expected it because of your other books and because the mother bear was teaching her twin cubs to beg from tourists in Yellowstone Park. Then when the mother died because a stupid tourist fed her a cupcake in a plastic bag and she ate the bag too. I knew this was going to be a sad book. Winter was coming on. Tourists were leaving the park and the little bear didn't know how to find food for themselves. When they hibernated and they woke up in the middle of winter because they had eaten all the wrong things and hadn't stored up enough fat, I almost cried. I sure was relieved when the nice ranger and his boy found the young bears and fed them, and the next summer taught them to hunt for the right things to eat. I wonder what happens to the fathers of bears. Do they just go away? Sometimes I lie awake listening to the gas station pinging, and I worry because something might happen to Mom. She's so little compared to most moms, and she works so hard. I don't think Daddy is that much interested in me. He didn't phone when he said he would. I hope your book wins 1,000,000 awards. Sincerely, Libot. January 19th. Dear Mr. Henshaw, thank you for sending me the postcard with the picture of the lake and mountains and all the snow. Yes, I will continue to write in my diary even if I do have to pretend I am writing to you. You know something? I think I feel better when I write in my diary. My teacher says my writing skills are improving. Maybe I really will be a famous author someday. She said our school, along with some other schools, is going to print. That means mimeograph, a book of work of young authors, and I should write a story for it. The writers of the best work will win a prize. Lunch with a famous author and with winners from other schools. I hope the famous author is you. I don't often get mail, but today I received 2 postcards, one from you and one from Dad in Kansas. His card showed a picture of a green elevator. He said he would phone me sometime next week. I wish someday he would have to drive a lot of something to Wyoming and would take me along so I could get to meet you. That's awful now. I'm going to try to think up a story. Don't worry, I won't send it to you to read. I know you are busy and I don't want to be a nuisance. Your good friend, Libot the First.